Little Miss Recap contains adult language. Little Miss Recap is intended for entertainment purposes only. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap. My name is Amy.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Good morning, Amanda.
Morning, Aim. How are we?
I'm okay. How are you?
Living the dream.
I'm living the dream too. Yeah.
Living the dream. As I told you before we recorded, I had an entire evening of just hot flashes over and over. It was great. I'm really enjoying menopause.
I had an entire evening of sobbing and anxiety.
Yeah. We're doing great over here.
Good times. Good times. Today as you're listening to this, the girls' graduation party has already happened.
Yes. I can't wait to hear about it. I know it will be a success.
I just need it to be behind me. You know what I mean?
It's just a party. The people who love the girls are going to be there, and then it'll be over.
Here's the thing. I roll through things with Janelle level energy, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the very last minute, I'm like, "Ugh, this requires more than Janelle level energy." And you don't realize it till it's almost too late. And then you're stuck with like a couple days to get everything done.
Of intense Mary energy.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're in the Mary energy portion.
I am.
Yeah.
So there I am. Yeah.
Okay. You'll get there. Do you need me to come up and like make flowers for you or some shit?
No, I'm good.
Okay, because
I'll
would
get this done. I know you would. I absolutely know you would.
What the fuck else do I have to do?
Because in my crying last night, I'm like, I wish Jenny lived closer to do this for me. And Timmy's like, you could always call Amanda. You could always call Jenny. They would come and help you. I'm like, no,
of course.
I'm good. I'm good.
Of course.
I will tell you that Jody Weber, our favorite retired FBI agent.
Yes, I have a whole plethora of retired FBI agents in my life, and Jody's the number one.
And she
would be regardless.
She talked on her Patreon about she brought her daughter to college, and she got real emotional. She had me crying. She was crying.
Oh boy!
So I wrote her a little note, like beep beep beep. You know,
I'm with you, girl.
Yeah. So she wrote me this lovely letter back, and in it she ended it by saying, "Why don't we get together and talk about Karen Reed?"
That's
and I'm like, you know what? Yes.
That is exactly what you needed to hear.
Yes. So that's going to be, I'm going to put it on Murder, She Watched. It'll probably be next week.
Okay.
So perfect. I will announce it when it happens. But I feel like we need a postmortem on the case with her.
Agree. I agree.
Yeah. Because we didn't even talk about the verdict.
No, you and I did not talk about the verdict. I am so relieved
for
her.
Me too.
I think being found guilty of DUI was completely appropriate.
Me too.
Everyone in that house should have been found guilty of a DUI.
Agreed.
But the state couldn't prove the case.
Did you see the McCabe's and the Alberts went on like 2020 or something?
No.
It wasn't good. He's Brian Albert's trying to say he didn't come out of the house because like that's not his jurisdiction.
It's your front yard. Like, shut up.
You're a first responder. That is your front yard.
Right. And no one was asking you to come out there in an
officer.
Right. No one was asking him to come out there in an official police capacity.
No, just run out into the lawn and say what's happening.
If the police show up in my front yard, I'm going outside.
Then he slipped up and he said something like, well, John was already gone by that point anyway. No, he wasn't.
Oh,
they didn't know that.
That's not
so
good.
It was not good. And then, oh my God, my mom and I watched the Michael Proctor 2020 thing. He is a dick bag.
I have to watch that too.
Oh God, he starts crying.
Shut up.
He's not crying that a police officer is dead.
No.
He's crying. He fell to his knees and started crying when they fired him from his job. Now look, I cried when I got fired from my job.
Same.
I'm sure you cried when you lost your job.
Yes.
But like, it wasn't because we were neglectful in a murder investigation.
No, it wasn't because there's an entire country looking at me going, I'm crooked.
Right. It wasn't because your crimes caught up with you because you weren't criming.
No, I wasn't criming. Right. I was not criming. I've really rarely ever crimed, to be honest. I mean, my biggest crimes, honestly, are speeding.
You know that I rigged the postal system when I was like 15 and I used to shoplift.
I knew about the shoplifting. I don't know about rigging the postal system.
Yeah, I figured out that if you put the sender's address as your return address and you don't put a stamp on it, it goes to them.
Right. So
So
you could get away with mailing things without a stamp.
I was doing those shenanigans when I was like 14 or 15.
I see. I see.
And then
Well,
Dad told me that rigging the U.S. postal system might be a felony.
it might be.
So I stopped doing it.
I don't really think just
I don't think
doing
so
that game
I think he
a
just tried to
felony
scare me.
for a 15-year-old. I feel like if the postmaster general if this was brought to their attention, they'd be like, I got way bigger problems. Like I don't have a balanced budget. So I'm going to worry about that versus Amy sending the occasional letter without a stamp on it.
I think that he was just trying to scare me.
I think so too. He was scared. It was a scared straight situation.
Yeah, it really was. He did scare me straight. And then we would go to Hills when I was like maybe 13 and I'm stuffing all the earrings in my pockets. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
to fit in with the cool girls. I had to do it.
I stole like a lip gloss from Claire's once. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, some of us lie about how many bagels are in the Wegmans bag. Some of us don't. I don't know what to tell you.
I've done. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, one time I stole a big like box fan from Staples completely inadvertently. Yes. I was buying a bunch of stuff to go back to school.
Yeah.
So I had my cart full and then I get out to my car and I realized like the fan was underneath the cart, not in any way of being, it's just where it fit. And I was like, I think I got enough of my money and I'm broke and I'm a college kid. So then at that point in my life, I was driving a soft-sided Jeep. Well, wouldn't you know, I parked my car in between getting home and someone stole all the shit out of my car.
Oh.
It was like I set up some karma for the world and then
okay. So somebody lifted a stolen fan.
Someone lifted my stolen fan.
Maybe they filed the serial numbers off it though. Maybe it's
off of a $16 box fan from Staples. Sure. There's a lot of serial numbers involved in that.
That's a hot fan.
That's hot.
I'm sorry I snorted. That was gross.
That's okay. I snort sometimes. It's fine.
Okay. So today my one daughter's at her college orientation. I'm not with her.
Down south?
Westchester.
The southern daughter. Okay, got it.
She wanted to go with her friend. She's like, there's really nothing for the parents to do.
Nope.
So I just gave her a little cash money and sent her on her way.
Yeah, good job. Good
so
job,
she's
Mom.
doing that. Do you know they gave her... this is one thing I was irate about because I said to them both, I want to be with you when you make your schedules because I know from experience working on the other side of this that they give freshmen the classes no one else wants.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not going to have you set up for failure your freshman year with shitty classes.
Okay.
Do you know they gave her a Friday 4 to 6 p.m. bio lab?
Oh, that sucks.
I was trying to get her to switch it and she was like, Mom, it's not a big deal. It's only a semester. I'm like, okay. See, she doesn't quite understand how this will affect her when she wants to come home on weekends. A weekend or a holiday.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep. I was like, well, parties don't start till later, but no, it'll be coming home on the weekend. That'll be the problem. If she wants to come. Well, that means you'll pick her up at 6.
Yep.
At least it's not till like 10, because I know there are some schools that do like 10 o'clock classes on Fridays. Delaware didn't when I was there.
I used to love taking night classes.
I didn't mind night classes at all, but at Delaware, at least they did when I was there. They did not have Friday. Like the last class ended on Fridays at like 5 o'clock or something.
You know what I used to love taking the night classes for? Because there were usually the returning students in there.
You like older people.
I always gravitated towards older people, not people my age.
I understand.
So, yeah. It explains my love of Billy Bob Thornton. It really does.
It does. It does.
By the way, you guys probably have heard the poop cruise by now. And I had Jenny weigh in on Billy Bob. She says, very hot.
Well, you people are broken.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a genetic break.
But I have an exciting TikTok I'm going to make later.
Oh, you have an exciting TikTok you're going to make.
Yes,
before we began recording, didn't you tell me how you're having a complete nervous breakdown because you have too much to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go through the different variations of Billy Bob Thornton, and I have photographic evidence that he is hottest in relation to Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
When he is near her, he's at peak hotness.
I see.
If he's with other women, not as hot. When he's away from her, not as hot.
Is it kind of like the further the wives get from Cody Brown, the better looking they get?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Which
absolutely.
is why Robin's going
Robin
downhill quickly.
If you guys want to hear our Sister Wives recaps, join us on Patreon where we do, what are we in? Season 4. We do season 4 every Sunday. Sunday is our Sister Wives Sundays.
That's right. Whether it's new material or old material.
Yep.
We're having a blast dunking on these people. We're also having a great time really dunking on the Plaths.
Oh, guys, we're doing Plathville season 1. Ugh.
I hate these people.
I'm not letting them in this space. All right.
No, this is
so
a happy
let's
space.
do 90 Day Fiance season 11 episode 20.
Yes. Tell All Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Part 2. Okay. All right. Amanda's going to take us away here.
Amy, I didn't know I could hate Ammani more.
Ammani is awful.
She is a fucking garbage human being.
Were you sobbing during the Alliya and Shawn stuff?
No, of course I wasn't sobbing, but I thought it was sweet. I was.
Okay.
I think this goes back to our theory of like, he's going to take care of her.
Yeah. But it wasn't what you wanted to hear.
No, it wasn't what she wanted to, because this isn't what she wants. This marriage is actually what neither of them want.
Yeah.
But now they're in it. So they're going to figure out how to make the best of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It
sounds like my parents' marriage.
Sounds like mine until it wasn't. I also would like you to know in my notes, because of the challenge between Shawn and Shawn, I have now taken male Shawn. He's just BK, because he's just the Burger King.
Okay.
He's just BK in all my notes, because it was getting too challenging.
Oh, we have to talk about the breaking news about Sukanya.
We need confirmation.
Okay. I have reached out to Shibuti. I will let you know.
Okay. Okay. Because this is good news for the franchise.
Let me see if he wrote back.
Okay. So if folks aren't aware, Sukanya Krishnan, who does the tell-alls for Sister Wives, who has come under some criticism for not holding Cody and Robin to account quite as much as she could, though she did this season. There's rumor that she will be replacing Shawn Robinson.
I'm sorry, that's not what I reached out to Shibuti about.
Oh.
I reached out to Shibuti to see, did they really have confirmation on Sarper and Shekinah being on Last Resort 3?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, yeah.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Okay. Well, we knew that this was their audition reel for Last Resort 3, so that's fine.
So Sukanya, okay, so let's talk about this. So it's rumored that Sukanya hosted the Last Resort.
No.
Tell-all.
Hunt for Love.
I'm sorry. Yes. Hunt for Love, Tell-all.
Yes.
And that they're going to use her for those spin-offs, but keep Shawn on the OG is what I'm hearing. Is that what you're saying?
I have not heard that Shawn stays on the OG. I've just seen Suki.
That's what I heard. I think they're bringing in someone to do the more scandalous. I'm telling you, they are trying to go the way of like Love Island, stuff like that. So I think that Suki's going to do the trashier stuff, if you will.
Great.
Yeah.
Because she'll get in there.
Yeah, she'll get in there, guys.
And she'll watch the damn show.
Like Amanda said, if you're a Sister Wives follower, this is good news for us.
This is good news.
Because we saw Suki goes up against Bowser, a.k.a. Cody, every year. She goes up against that M-boss.
And it does seem that Suki has actually watched the material, unlike Shawn Robinson, who just has Barbara in her ear going, ask this question, and then we're just going to leave this here.
I wonder if Barbara is leaving commentary like, Amini is a huge asshole. Just call her an asshole. Just do it.
And Shawn won't do it. Because woman of God won't do it.
No.
I understand. So we pick right back up where we left off with the Amani Shekinah fight. I want to say Sukanya. No, the Amani Shekinah fight.
Yeah.
Ani says Shekinah needs respect. Okay. She says she never said anyone was trans. Shekinah says this. And she kind of thinks Amani is the problem by sharing this information. And now we've just moved into the shut up portion of the tell-all where it's shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. These people are really very mature. Now the actual trans person on the stage decides to weigh in.
She's like,
excuse me. I can speak to this experience unlike the rest of you fuckers, so let me talk. And she says, for trans people are always trying to find the masculinity or the femininity in the person. For her, obviously, they're always looking for the masculinity, so that's what she's mostly aware of. And how they look like a man, etc. And she's like, I think it's a weird comment. And so Shawn asks if it's a rude question. Aliyah's like, no, but Burger King says it wasn't necessary. Like, why are we even asking this?
I think it was a rude question.
It's incredibly rude question. Alliya didn't find it rude. I found it rude.
I found it rude.
'Cause
It's invasive.
it's unnecessary.
Like, who cares? Number 1, who
Right.
cares? But number 2, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay. I was gonna say something else, but I couldn't think of I lost
So it's
it
a
there.
double
So
who cares.
who cares?
Who cares
Double
twice.
who cares?
It's a double who cares. And now we're just gonna have to leave this here. So we come back to the conversation between Matt and his buddy Eric about being in poly relationships. So on comes Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And he's here to share his perspective on the situation. And Sarper says under his breath, "What a cult they all are."
I know. I know.
I really enjoyed Sarper in this episode.
I guess. Between the bad acting, I just have a hard time.
I don't know. I find him charming. He's doing something in Maryland.
I know. I'm trying to get Mary Payne to go.
Oh, I would almost like to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little hike.
He's also going to be on the stage with
Brett Goldstein
Brett
and Margaret
Goldstein.
Cho. Roy Kent and Sarper are going to meet.
Wow.
Lord help us all. So Shawn asks if there are the same patterns in his failed relationships and Eric's failed relationships. And he says, the fact that Amani and Ani aren't banging is a problem.
Yeah.
And is Ani even into Amani? And Amani's like, fine, we're going to have sex this week. I will fly out.
How romantic. It's almost like Shawn being like, I'll take care of you.
I'll bang you one time just to say we did it. This feels like when I was trying to have a baby when we were doing an infertility journey, and it's like, it's Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Whether we're into it or not, it's the day we got to do it.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
And there was a lot of times where it's like,
where do you want me?
Yeah, let's just let's just go.
Yeah.
Mahdi asks if it is worth it to be in a throuple. I'm going to say not if it's this.
I'm going to say no.
No. And Amani says she will always be true to herself. She wants to give this a try. So they aren't banging, and they've had some explosive fights. So now we revisit all of the fighting from the season. We go back to the winery, and as Ani told people in their relationship, we get the whore and a housewife. We get the breakup fight and the slut shaming of Ani for being a dancer. So it's
amazing. Yep. We cover everything.
We run the gamut of all of the terrible things that Amani has said to Ani over the season, because it's really not Ani saying terrible things to Amani.
No.
It is Amani always
all
going
Ani
after
said
Amani.
was, I don't like you.
Right.
As a person.
Ani, same girl. I don't like her either.
Yeah.
And Amani says she's shaking from watching this, Amy.
Oh, God.
And Ani is crying, and Matt's like, oh, that was hard to watch. So now Greg comes in and says, honestly, the harsh language would shut me down immediately. You can't just apologize. This wasn't a one and done. This is a pattern.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you,
You
Greg.
are correct.
I
have to tell you, all in all, take out the fact that Joan's like, I'm going to fucking have a baby, whether you like it or not, Lucille.
Yeah.
Joan came off just fine.
I don't feel like Joan had her best showing, but
no, this was not. But Greg did well.
Greg did well.
Other than the armpits.
Yeah.
So Shawn now asks what happens, and what's going to happen. And Amani makes Ani explain. Amani says, makes Ani explain. So Ani says she's help with rent sometimes. This is all about the money. And she says she sent the money, but she never got it. And then she tried to send almost $4,000. So to Matt and Amani, it sounded like she was dumping them for not sending the money, which is why she went crazy.
Okay.
And Ani's like, your reactions are so bad. Yes.
They're so over the top and they're disgusting.
Yes. So now Burger King pipes in, and he says he was rooting for them until the hoe into a housewife sitch.
Yeah.
And then you doubled down and you shamed her for dancing, which is probably where you met her. Thank you, Shawn, for saying the quiet part out loud.
I'm going to say something controversial. I think Shawn came off okay here.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Shawn came off okay through this whole thing.
I do too. I
think he did too. And because we got totally Matt Sharped about we thought him being an asshole, and he wasn't. We'll get there. And he's like, I am shaking watching you talk about somebody like this. Like, you're disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Amani says she knows her words were hurtful. And Alliya asks if she apologized. And Ani says she did, but the money thing got cleared up because of a screenshot and some banking errors. And now we have to talk about how much money has Matt and Amani sent to Ani. Amani says In total, she doesn't know how much they've sent her. And Ani comes up with the answer and says $2,000 here, $2,000 there. And then they have to say some of the trips they paid for were $20,000 trips. So Matt's coming in at $60,000.
Okay.
I think it's probably a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm
They're
fine with it.
buying her. They're buying her.
Buying her.
Mm-hmm.
She
and
is
you know
their
what,
toy.
girl? Get your bag from these idiots.
I'm not usually one who's like, let's scam people. I
Nope.
hope this woman takes them for every fucking
Me
penny
too.
they have, because
Me too.
I think these are terrible people and they
Same.
are fame-hungry whores who are just bad.
Yeah, I actually will get to it, but I actually have a little more patience for Matt Sharp Jr. than I do for her.
I don't know. They're just both
Not a
horrible.
ton, but I think she is the neck that turns the head.
Maybe. So Juan is like, wait, Ani said she makes so much money dancing. Why do you guys even need to send her money? Valid question.
Yeah.
Amani says one time she said no to money and the relationship almost ended, which is odd because she didn't actually say no. She said she sent the money. It just didn't go through. So which is it, Amani? Shawn now asks if Amani is afraid to say no to Ani because she's afraid she'll leave the relationship. And Amani's like, yeah, I'm afraid to say no to her. She doesn't want to lose her. And Eric says, if she will leave because of money, how is that trustworthy? And if she loved you, she wouldn't leave because of money. Thank you, Eric, for stating the obvious.
Yeah.
We are in a transactional relationship. And as long as the transactions continue, Ani's great to be there.
Yeah.
And Ani says, if you think I'm a gold digger, that's your problem, not mine. And Amani can talk to her about it.
Okay.
I want to be done with these people, but we're not yet. Because Mahdi now says, the more he hears, the less love there is. Shekinah agrees. So now Amani says Sarper and Shekinah have fake, shallow relationship.
Oh.
I'm not saying she's wrong. Here's the thing. I actually don't think Shekinah and Sarper's relationship is fake.
I don't either. I think the fighting is fake.
I think the fighting is fake.
Yeah.
I think they genuinely like each other, love each other, and are in this to win this.
Yeah, I agree.
And part of being in this to win this is staying on this franchise.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
Little Miss Recap will return in a moment. For ad-free episodes, visit littlemissrecap.com/support.
Amani says she promised to pay Ani's rent, and she's jealous, so she will pay her so she doesn't have to work. Okay. Wait a minute. I thought Ani made so much money she didn't need your
yes.
The story
it
is
doesn't
not
make sense.
consistent.
No,
point to point. So Sarper asks if Ani still dances, and Amani's like, no, she doesn't. And Ani's like, of course I do.
Yeah.
So Greg points out, there seems to be some inconsistencies here. What else is she withholding? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg,
for your service.
Captain Obvious.
Yes. Now Amani switches gears because Amani is just like, where can I land something here? So now she has to switch over and wonders why Ani isn't telling them, but they're going to figure it out later. Amani and Matt are already in the middle of divorcing, which is why she isn't even wearing her wedding rings anymore. So let's talk about this, because
you can still wear your
fucking wedding rings. It's not like she's like, I'm not wearing them so I can get used to the idea of divorcing. But you're still staying with him.
Yeah, this is stupid.
Even Danielle Merrifield kept her fucking rings
I was just
on.
going to say, you think Danielle Merrifield ripped that off? No.
They stayed on all the damn time.
Garrick and his mom jeans at the bridge with this pregnant fiance.
Amy, I need this so badly.
Guys, there is a picture circulating that is rumored to be Garrick with a very pregnant woman. I need this.
Who is absolutely not Danielle, because it's an entirely different race person. So not Danielle.
I have a lift, if you will, for the BDFs. I have something they could do for us.
Oh, what's that?
Okay. So I am trying to manifest that this is going to come back after Virgins, which will be in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I need you guys to manifest a Seeking Sister Wife return in July.
Yes.
Let's manifest that.
Let's manifest
Put
this
it on
together.
your vision boards. Do whatever you have to do.
Can I manifest this right after manifesting a job?
Amanda, what's more important?
That's a good point. Okay, I'm going with Garrick. I need Garrick more than I need a job. And I almost kind of mean that. I need Garrick so badly.
Oh, him and his little mom jeans.
Yes. His tapered mom jeans. Like, dude. But I will say there was no teeny tiny tank top. but he
No,
wasn't
that's
in
why I
Brazil.
don't think it's him.
There's no teeny tiny tank top. That's because maybe he can only wear that in Mexico and Brazil.
Maybe.
Maybe in
Maybe.
Colorado, it's
Mhm.
like barred somehow.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Their house still hasn't sold, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, so Matt and Amani divorcing. She won't wear her rings. Burger King is like, the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Juan says, take 2 more years before you even divorce. Like, make sure this actually works. He's correct. Yeah. Amani says they want to live under the same roof.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric's like, okay, then, but why are you getting divorced? And Amani's like, because we need to. It's worth the risk. Well, there is no risk, Amani, because you and Matt are technically not breaking up.
Right.
And if this doesn't work, you can just go get remarried.
Maybe they watch Sister Wives and she knows what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Things don't tend to go good after you do a fake divorce. It didn't go well for
Paperwork
Danielle
shuffle
Merrifield.
is not the way to
Didn't
go.
go well for Mary.
No.
Went well for Robin. Didn't go well for Mary. Didn't go well for Danielle Merrifield.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to go well for Amani. No. Good.
July 21st is the date that I'm trying to manifest it, by the way.
Oh, okay. Got it. So now we have a specific date.
Mm-hmm.
Backdoor friends, get to it.
Yeah.
Matt says the 3 of them are getting stronger. Are you?
Okay.
Okay, then. Shawn wishes them the best with their shit show.
Bye.
Now, Mark asks Alliya and Greg, so they take a break. They go outside. Mark asks Alliya and Greg if they could do a throuple, and Mina's there. She's like, no. Way too jealous. Joan's like, yeah, nope. No. Not doing this. Now Amani wants to talk to Shekinah and Sarper. Stop.
She is such a tryhard with Shekinah.
Well, Amani is such a tryhard.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
With Shekinah.
Shekinah.
Like,
yes,
she's
yes,
just
yes.
trying to be her friend.
Right.
Like, stop. You want to be her. She wants to wear her skin.
Yes.
Stop.
She is so jealous of Shekinah.
I never thought I'd say this. Straight. I never thought I'd say this, but Shekinah is way classier than you.
Yes.
So just stop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a low bar.
It is a low bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so Amani thanks them for today. And she said, it says specifically to Sarper, I thought you'd be an asshole and you weren't. Wow. That's always going to start a conversation off on the good foot. Mm-hmm. She kind of says, be careful. And she said that to me. So don't trust her. Matt says Shekinah is the sourest person. And so she leaves. She's like, fine, fuck it. I'm not going to stand here.
She
and be
does
insulted.
not want to deal with these fools who've been on every television show trying to get a little bit of notoriety.
Yep.
And they're just gross.
Yep. Amani snaps back. Matt says, she's just nasty. And Shekinah's in her little fake dressing room area. She's within her curtains. As
Is
they would
this
say
when they're brushing their teeth?
No, we haven't gotten to the teeth brushing yet, which we will get there. And the producer's like, are you okay? She's like, fuck them. That's the right answer, Shekinah.
Yeah.
Amani says, I like women, but I'd never put up with that. How do you make it work with her? This is her husband.
Yeah.
That'd be like me coming to Timmy and being like, I like women, but how the fuck do you put up with Amy?
I mean, I'm sure
maybe I would have to ask that. But
I'm sure he's heard it.
But it's for different reasons.
Yes. How do you deal with the constant crying?
Mm-hmm. And Sarper's like, female energy. What are you going to do? Yeah. Am I right?
With those stupid lips on his neck.
I know. And we cannot solve them today. No. Amani doesn't want this energy and animosity. And Amani is going to go back in and fake apologize. And Shekinah's like, would you just leave me alone?
Just stay away from me.
Just stay away from me. And Matt says, she's butthurt. Let her go. She's so immature. Okay, Matt. Okay. I'm going to need you to sit down.
You just used the phrase butthurt.
Yes.
Dude.
And Shekinah yells at Sarper for not defending her more.
Sure.
So now we actually see Amani walking backstage. And Matt is literally holding the cape of this stupid ass dress behind her like they're at their wedding.
Of her Icecapades dress.
Of her Icecapades dress. Like, what are we doing? Mahdi is just super sweet, but is looking at them like they are loons. Because they are.
Yeah.
She kind of says she dates protective people and she isn't used to people like Sarper abandoning her. And Sarper says she kind of made a mistake, but they came at her too hard. And
blah, 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 blah.
Right. Sarper says it could have gotten physical and no one wants that. I'm like, I want that. Can I see Shekinah and Amani beat the shit out of each other? That
After I see Cody and David fight,
yes.
I'd be up for this one.
Yes. So they get back on stage, Amy, and we see Matt and Amani sitting there and he rubs the behind the screen of Ani going, I wish you were here.
Oh god. I didn't see that part.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So Shawn now asks what happened backstage. She kind of says Amani, and she corrects the pronunciation. She says like a monkey or something. And Amani's like, it's a many. Is it now?
We don't know.
We don't know. And now a bunch of she said, he said, she said, she said. Da, da,
Yeah.
da.
Blah, blah, blah.
She wanted to talk to Sarper, so she excused herself and she began insulting her. And Amani says, if you waited a bit, I would have gotten to it. No, you wouldn't.
All right.
Amani says, don't take everything so personal. We aren't in high school. Excuse me, ma'am. You are
This is so
behaving.
stupid.
You live with 18-year-old girls. Are they as immature as Amani?
No.
Right.
No.
Right. And this woman is an adult.
As long as they got their vapes and they're partying, they're good.
They're good. And they're Dunkin' and their Chipotle gift cards. They're fine.
Yes, they're fine.
And Sarper's like, let's just not talk. We're never going to get along. Let's just move on. Sarper gets all serious now about how he keeps promises and how much he loves Shekinah. And then he gets up and I'm like, oh, he's getting her the wedding ring.
Yeah. And he doesn't. Okay. So he gets her the wedding ring and he's like, here. He doesn't like get down on a knee. He doesn't like give a little speech about how much he loves her. He's like,
here's your fucking
here.
ring.
Now shut the fuck up.
Right. And I spent half of all of my savings on this. So shut up. She starts crying.
She's like, oh, babe.
I know. And now they're fine, of course. And Matt's like, it's nice to see that there's love between them.
Fuck off.
She kind of says, I guess I'll stay married to him, and laughs, which is a joke.
Yes.
They're fine.
Yes.
And bitch Amani pipes up, until next time. Fuck off, bitch.
Whatever, dude.
Stop. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sarper says there'll be no more rings. We make a Lord of the Rings joke about my precious, and they're fine because they are fine. And now we're putting them to bed for a while. Let's move on to Juan and Jessica. Kids are good. Dayton got a horse. The other D child is doing something else, and David is fine.
Yeah.
All the D children.
This one, I found this compelling.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. So Shawn asks Juan how is settling into Wyoming, and he's like, it's tough. It's tough on my mind. It's tough on me economically. My financial life is falling apart. In Colombia, I had properties that I was rehabbing and selling and renting. Like, it sounds like Juan has really been like working his ass off on a cruise ship and building wealth.
Yeah.
Which good for him. And he's like, I don't have the money to rehab them anymore. I'm in a bunch of debt. And they ask how much. And he's like, I don't even want to think about it. And we find out Jessica isn't even helping him. He's like, because this is my problem, not your problem.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how Todd and I treat our finances. I mean, yes, we're married, but like, he has his own financial life.
You got married late enough that you two
we have separate
had
lives.
your own lives. Financial lives.
Yes, financial lives. And she's like, he wants to do it himself. And Juan now has his green card. Seems like almost everybody has their green card, but hasn't really found a job that he likes. So they talk occasionally about him potentially going back on the ship.
She seems open to it.
She does. And it's really just the duration of it. I think if it were 2 months, she'd be like, go.
Okay, can we talk about this for a minute? It's the 8 months
that's a problem.
Can we talk about this for a minute?
Of course. No,
so
we can't.
His contract is 6 months, right?
Most of them are 8 months at least.
Let's say 8 months. Okay. Let's split the difference and go 7.
Sure.
So in 7 months, there is 210 days. Does that sound right?
Sure. Okay. Sounds about right.
Now, let's say that Juan only is actively working, because we know like there's the excursion days, there's, whatever. Let's say he's actively working a third of that. Okay. So let's take away 70. So that's 140 days that he's working in this 7-month period. He says he makes $900 a day in tips.
Just in tips.
Okay. So that is $126,000.
Yeah.
You could do one of these every other year.
Yeah.
And be fine. Because that's just his tips.
That's just his tips. That's not his salary.
Right. So he probably makes 30 grand, right? Maybe even less, because it's probably like a waitressing thing.
Let me see.
Where it's a tip.
Cruise
ship bartender salary.
Bartender salary. Yep. Okay. Cruise ship bartender salaries vary, but generally includes base salary plus tips. And average hourly pay is $15 in the U.S., while pay scale estimates monthly earnings of $1,400 to $2,200.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot.
Yeah. So even if you add 15 grand onto this,
Yeah.
he can do one of these every other year, is my point.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not do that? And then that other year you are home, you are Mr. Mom, right? You're
Mhm.
taking care of the baby, your children,
Yeah.
and you're helping Jessica out for
Mhm.
a year. Like, I think that would be a good model.
It would work, but I don't think he wants to be away from his kid for 9 months, which I get too,
I get it.
particularly so
But
little.
you know what? I was thinking about this though. I'm like, if this is what he has to do to provide for his family, there are military families who do this all the
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
Like, it can be
Absolutely.
done.
It
It
can be done.
absolutely can be done. They can FaceTime. She can bring him to see him in port once in a while, like she
Mhm.
did that one time. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, it can work.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm
But
sure he can get a great friends and family discount. She could come once a month and go on a cruise.
yeah, I just think if you're making that much money,
Yeah.
like Timmy and I talked about that, maybe that he could do 6 months on, 6 months off if he
Mhm.
went back to the union. Do you know what I mean? Because he
Right.
makes enough and that builds up our benefits.
Right.
Then, like, we had talked about that in the past. So, like, why doesn't he look into something like that?
I don't know.
Because they probably benefits through her.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So anyway, because
So
benefits in America and,
it's everything.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I told my mother how much Cobra was
Yeah.
yesterday. She was like, "What?"
Cobra's ridiculous.
Cobra is ridiculous, but it's actually not much cheaper on the exchange, which is a whole other
Mm,
conversation.
yeah.
So anyway, his life's falling apart, etc. They talk occasionally about him going back on the ship, but it's the duration that's making
Yeah.
it the last resort. Mark finally speaks up and
Yeah.
empathizes and says,
Yeah.
"Look, I'm a pilot. This was my dream job. I get it. Your dream was to work in the cruise line and you got there. I get why this is so hard for you."
Yeah.
And now,
So Mark later, I don't know if you wrote this down because it was a very quick comment,
said
but
talk about the yacht.
yeah, later on he's like, you should look into private yachts.
Right. He's like, "Give me a call. We'll talk about private
Yeah.
yachts," which
That
could
would
be
be great.
a great compromise if maybe he's only gone for 2 months.
Yes. Yep.
And if he's on a private yacht, he's probably making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never watched Below Deck, so what do I know? But I would think it'd be better. So
I
now,
always assume nobody pays staff well. So
Amy, now it's time for Danielle.
okay. The first half of this, I was like, Danielle's not bad, actually.
No, she's not bad
Okay.
at first.
Mm-hmm.
At
Mm-hmm.
first,
At first.
talking about the challenges of dating somebody in the hospitality industry.
Yep.
So she comes out and Jessica's like, "That's my girl, fellow Paradise girl," because that's
Mm-hmm.
the first incarnation they were both on. I'm sure they got to know each other. I
Yep.
just want Danielle to go away. I hate
Me
this woman.
too. Me too.
Danielle says she sees a lot of her relationship with Johan
Mm-hmm.
in Juan and Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Johan and Juan are not
Not
cut
the
from the same
same.
cloth.
Not the same.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
No.
Yes, Juan did cheat. So did Jessica. Let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Johan was a serial cheater, like every
Yeah, he
other
was.
day.
Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, flirting is part of hospitality work. Yes, it is. But no one's upset about Juan. Jessica's never upset about Juan flirting. She understands that's part of the job. It's
Yeah.
putting his P in someone else's V that's the problem.
There's a world in which I could be like, whatever happens on the cruise ship stays on the cruise ship. I'm not even going to ask questions.
I could potentially do that too.
Yeah, I could get there.
I don't know. But, she's like, now that you're married with a kid, that creates problems.
Mm-hmm.
So Shawn's like, "Wait, are you and Johan back together?" She's like, "Yes, we are." Shawn's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I saw you two before, really?"
Mm-hmm.
And Danielle said, "All I wanted was for him to acknowledge what he did. And once he admitted it all, I could move on."
Mm.
Okay. I don't think that's true. I'm sure you torture him constantly.
Yeah.
Just like he tortures you constantly.
Yeah.
Now it's time for Majin. Wow.
Mm.
Shawn makes Majin and Juan say hi. They kind of like grunt at each other.
Yeah.
Shawn begins, "So you threatened to ruin Juan's life. Does that still stand?"
Yeah, it
And she goes,
does.
"Yeah, forever."
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't like that. And if someone's going to ruin his life, it should be Jessica, he says, because she's the one I'm in a relationship, not with you.
Right.
And because Majin has nothing to do with it, just let us be. And now we see her going, "Bitch, bye." I don't know why we say that, but that's what Majin comes up with.
I know.
Jessica does the least through this whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The problem between Juan and Majin is the fact that Jessica is allowing this to happen.
I agree.
Stop it.
I agree. Yeah.
You need to say to both of these people, "You are the
Stop
people
it.
I love most in the world. Stop."
And you
And
could
actually,
tell
it's to Majin she needs to say it because Juan is just reacting.
you can just tell that that Majin and Jessica are so enmeshed.
So enmeshed.
It's one of those relationships, and we've all had them, that you form a bond when you're both unhappy or
Mhm.
single or seeking something or a bad
Something.
situation, and you kind of bond over that, and
Mhm.
then the dynamic changes and one tries to break out, and
Right.
it's hard to reset the dynamic.
And the other one's clinging on for dear
Yeah.
life because they want you to stay in
And
the relationship they love.
in all fairness to Majin,
Mhm.
Jessica probably made Majin her whole life
For a while, yeah.
for a long time when Juan was gone or she wasn't with Juan yet or whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's changing, and Majin's like, wait a minute, I thought I was the most important person in
Right.
your life here.
Right. And even if in Jessica's mind before Juan moved to Wyoming, even if in her mind Juan's the most important person in my life, Majin could very easily live in the delusion that, oh, I'm the most important because I'm the one here.
And I'm
She could
helping her raise
ignore
her kids. She
I'm
probably
helping
helped
raise
her
her
with their
kids.
kids.
Oh, I'm sure she did. But
Mhm.
she could like put Juan out of her mind because he wasn't
Agreed.
there. And
Agreed.
now he's here and
Yes.
she doesn't like it. Now Amani jumps in and says, Majin is ganging up on him. Shut up. Jessica likes that Majin has a good heart, but she's a grown woman. She doesn't need her protection. I think Jessica's finally getting brave enough to be like, I'm okay. You can
Yeah.
stop being all up in
Back
my
off.
business.
Yeah.
And now we revisit Majin going after Juan for the cheating. Danielle says words about cheating, so who cares? Juan hooked up with somebody a week after Jessica's bachelorette party. Ooh,
Ew.
that's not great. That was a real, I mean, if she was
Yeah.
just there the week before,
Yeah.
that's not great. If it had been like 6 months since he had seen her, I'm not saying
But
I'm
she
not saying he
says,
has an
like, we
excuse.
were struggling in our relationship and,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And she's like, I cheated too. Amani has a good point at one point because she does say, why are you crying so hard about a relationship that you aren't in?
Yeah, it was weird.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
weird.
Amani.
You asked the question we all wanted to know.
Yes. Why?
Mhm.
And she's like, I am in it. I was there when they met. That doesn't mean you're in it.
Nope.
And Burger King. I can't believe I just keep putting BK in this. Burger King asks, whose lie hurt you the most, Juan or Jessica's? And she goes, Jessica's.
Yeah.
So Danielle says in their relationship with each other, or their relationship, Juan and Jessica's relationship has to be more important than Jessica and Majin's relationship. And Jessica says she's trying to protect them both. Majin and her husband were being references for Juan, and he's turned down 50 jobs. Well, no, that's not actually what he's done.
No, Jessica's like, it's like 5.
It's like 5 because
Yeah.
I'm sure he applied to 50 jobs.
Mhm.
And I'm here to tell you, as somebody who is applying for jobs daily,
You could
most of what
apply
you
to
get are rejections
you could apply to 50 jobs every day
and get
and get
rejected from
maybe 3
49
bites.
of them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the job market we're sitting in right now, friends.
Yep.
And he's
It's
in
bad.
Torrington, fucking Wyoming.
Mhm.
We're not saying this is a hotbed of employment opportunities
Yeah.
for someone who's doesn't have any skills in the farming industry and whose native language isn't English.
I'm trying to think, is there a way that maybe for income for him that they could just stay on the show?
And maybe
Maybe
that's what they're trying to
they
do
would be
too.
on Happily Ever After?
I don't know.
I
Or
don't know.
pillow talk, but
I don't
the
know.
problem is cow patty's not that interesting.
No, and Pillow Talk's not going to pay that much.
No, cow
Mm.
patty's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
She's fine, but she's just boring.
Yeah, speaking of Pillow Talk.
Yeah.
My man John.
Yes.
Jan. Hey,
Jan.
River, you want a
River,
wrench?
you want a sister?
She's getting a sister.
She's getting a sister.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yep.
River, you want a sister?
I'm happy for him. Him and Megan.
Megan, yeah. Megan with the really large head that upset you.
On Pillow Talk, I just saw a screenshot of it. I didn't see the actual Pillow Talk episode. John and Patrick are on.
Yeah.
And Pat is dressed up as Martini Pat. And he's got like a little wig on. He's got a martini.
I will tell you one thing that these tell-alls were missing: cupcake and martini Pat.
I agree.
We needed the Pat's martini and cupcake.
Where were they? They needed to be satellited in via
Exactly.
satellite. Mhm.
Absolutely. We didn't need to bring them here. A satellite actually would have done it perfectly.
Yes,
Of them
yes.
sitting in their little like driveway
The
with
Stitch and Bitch. They're at
Right.
the Stitch and Bitch.
with their cocktails
Mhm.
and their cupcakes. I'm here for
Yes.
this. I need a martini and cupcake Pat in my life.
I
think.
just want the cupcake Pat.
Yeah.
I don't need the martini Pat. Just bring all the cupcakes here.
Yeah, I'm good for that.
Bring your cupcakes to my play yard.
Shh.
Playground?
No, we're not going here. We're not. This will send Lola over the edge. We can't.
Okay.
We can't
Okay.
mess this
All
up
right.
again.
All right. Let's
Okay.
move forward.
So Danielle's like, why are you staying in Wyoming?
Mm.
And Jessica says, look, I'm open to moving in time, but right now it just doesn't make sense. I have my kids 4 days. They're with their dad 3 days a week. We just can't leave right now.
Well, and Juan
Which
kind
is
of
what we
says
knew.
somebody will lose something. Every
Something.
way we go, somebody's going to
Somebody
lose
loses
something.
something. Right.
Yeah. And Juan's probably the one who's like, I'm going to lose right now because I'm not a child.
Right. I'm going to let the children have what they need over my needs.
Yes.
Because I think he actually cares about these little children.
Yeah, me too.
And he says what he really wants to do is work on a cruise ship. And Danielle's like, well, why don't you do that? And he's like, because I'm sticking to Wyoming because of David. And so now we have to fight about the fact that Majin is all up in arms because he didn't say David and Jessica. He said David.
Right.
And we learn about the 900 days in cruise tips. And he gets DMs, which of course he does. And Majin is, of course, pissed off that he smiles about saying he gets DMs. And he's like, I do respond. And he says he does it because he's a nice person. And Jessica's like, look, I have his whole social media on my phone. I'm not worried about this. It's fine.
Right.
Greg's like, I also respond to everybody. And I'm like, well, it's not really the same, dude. Greg, I appreciate you piping in here, but dude, I'm not going to say there's probably people who have dropped into Greg's DMs going, you want to break bread for me? I'm here for it.
Sure.
But I'm going to say there's more people dropping into Juan's DMs from
the sexy bartender. Yeah.
For Isaac the bartender versus the Pillsbury Doughboy. Not even Gopher. Gopher would have done better than Greg, I think.
Little Miss Recap will return in a moment. For ad-free episodes, visit littlemissrecap.com/support.
So now we have Danielle and Shekinah and Amani back and forth about Danielle fighting with Shekinah. That's what we came to. And she's like, no, I contacted Sarper, not Shekinah.
Right, because Shekinah's whole thing is like, Danielle contacted Sarper and not me.
And so that's a problem of people dropping into DMs.
Yes.
Shekinah, we're not talking about you right now, honey. You can just be quiet over there. And Matt comes in, and as does Amani, and she calls Shekinah shallow as a puddle.
Yeah, she does.
Stop.
Yeah, she does.
No one's talking to you. Danielle says Shekinah brings out the New York in her. And she says Shekinah does press interviews that she pays for. And now Shekinah calls Danielle trash. You're not wrong, Shekinah. Sarper and Shekinah call Danielle desperate. And Amani says, no, you're desperate.
Let's move forward.
And at one point, you look over, Stevie is sitting there with her little hands on her ears. Like,
yeah, we can't do what he said, she said with these people because we'll be here all day.
All day. So,
because they're a nightmare.
Right. They all agree they don't owe each other an apology. And now we're done with Danielle. We wish you the best.
I hate Danielle. Goodbye.
Now we have a break. And Mahdi comes up to Shekinah and he's like, girl, you have way too many haters. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And Amani tells Danielle that she's real, just like her. Amani, I don't want to give you advice to help, but here's a little advice to help. Do not align yourself with Danielle. So Mahdi says Danielle was attacking Shekinah and she got ganged up on, and he knows that there's lies about the paying for interviews. He knows Shekinah didn't do that and how manipulative Danielle is. He isn't confrontational at all. And he really isn't through this whole thing.
So at one point, so should he have stuck his nose in here? Probably not. Okay.
No, but they're all being paid to stick their nose in each other's business.
And he also doesn't understand. He doesn't have the context of understanding that this is just how these things go. This is his first tell-all.
No Danielle and all.
And he's being like little Amy Archer, has to set the record straight. And the person has to, you know what I mean?
Yep. He's trying to broker peace all over the place here.
But you're not going to be able to.
No.
But at one point, he has his finger up.
Yes.
Danielle gets off her couch.
Yes.
Runs the 10 feet across the room and says, don't put your finger in my face.
Right. She's the one who created this.
His finger was in the air near his own face 10 feet from you. Yeah. It was weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't like lying, and he wants to make sure, everybody has their time to say the truth. So Mahdi now goes to ask Danielle about paying for the interviews, and Matt keeps trying to jump in and says, he's a man. He'll defend women. Shut up, Matt.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
No one cares. Danielle says she doesn't know what she pays for and doesn't, but we know what people in LA do. And Mahdi's like, says to Danielle, why would you even say that? And she says, because she kind of presents herself as someone who wants to put herself into everything and she's nasty and goes after people. How about you just not say anything?
Yeah.
Sarper now jumps in and says Danielle is over the top. And Sarper says she is the most hated girl here.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. Ammani's pretty high up there now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm actually putting Ammani in the pantheon of the top worst people on 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
I'm putting her up with Sperm Kyle. I am putting her up with Ed and Angela. All of these people. And now she's like, I teach yoga and meditation. You might want to go practice some of that, girl, because it's not working. Shekinah is a bitch, and Sarper says she can be a bitch, and that's good. Shekinah says Danielle upsets her, and she asks how Shekinah is always the victim. Danielle, girl, you're always the victim, but we're going to meet someone who becomes an even bigger victim at all times, and that's Ammani.
Yeah, true.
She tells Stevie to get her husband under control, and Stevie tells Ammani to shut up because she interrupts everyone. And now we've got security out here. And Danielle says, get your finger out of my face, even though it never was in her face. She had to walk across the room to get the finger anywhere near her.
And who is it? Is it Joan that's just sitting there eating her food, watching it back and forth, back and forth?
Alliya.
Or it's Alliya?
Alliya's like, I'm hungry, so I'm just going to eat and watch.
Yeah.
This is stupid. The youngest one almost in the room is like, this is dumb. Well, now, she is the youngest one in the room. Not almost, she is. So now Matt gets between them. Matt, sit down. Take your Ice Capades blazer and go sit down. Because as soon as I saw the crystals on the blazer, I was like, oh, God, here we are. And Stevie tells Mahdi to just walk away. And he keeps telling her to apologize. And just is mayhem at this point. Alliya says, this looks like a circus. I don't want to waste my time. I just want to eat because I'm hungry. Alliya, you're taking the high road and the smart road here, girl. Ammani yells that Mahdi has no business and tells Stevie that they are being political. What?
Yeah, I don't
know what that
saying
means.
That right. Yeah.
And Mahdi could have helped call them out. And Stevie says she doesn't start shit, but she can finish it. And that's what she did.
It's just a clusterfuck. Everybody's yelling at everybody.
Right. Danielle says Shekinah has a history of not being a girl's girl and she's plastic and you can't figure out who she really is. Okay, Danielle.
Okay.
The person who's like called women whores on television. Shut up. Sarper and Shekinah complain to each other while brushing their teeth about this whole thing. So I was messaging with Stevie and I was like, so did they eat normal food or did they eat sticks of butter? And I don't think Stevie realized
she didn't know
in a previous thing. I'm like, in a previous tell-all, the two of them just straight up ate a stick of butter. Yeah. She's like, I think they ate regular food. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. She didn't know to pay attention. And Jessica's like, she's like, I had to go to the bathroom, but I could not leave this drama. So she's just sitting there watching it. And then she's like, okay, I have to go pee before we get on stage. Which would be us, Amy. We'd be sitting there just watching, not participating.
I'm not leaving for any reason.
I'm watching all this. And Ammani says, this is too toxic. I didn't want it to escalate this way. It got so ugly. Yes, because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. She kind of has no idea how she got everyone so riled up. And Sarper doesn't want to listen to them anymore. So now Mina jokes, look, everyone is a snake here. And Ammani says they all switch back like it is nothing. Because that's what they do. Now we're on to Mark and Mina. So Mark and Mina, they're fine. We joke about everybody's stripper names.
Okay. So did you find Matt's stripper name interesting?
Hudson?
That's a gay porn name.
Yeah, that's kind of a gay porn name. You're not wrong.
That's not a stripper name.
No, that's more of a gay porn name.
Matt's been up to little shenanigans out there.
I bet Matt has been up to a lot of shenanigans.
Yes.
Matt wants to stick his P in people's V's as much as he can.
I was just like, that's porn name to me.
It is. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But
I'll be interested to hear what Jake and Matt say about that.
I will too. So apparently the reason this comes up is there's this rumor that Mark and Mina met while she was working as an exotic dancer. And she says, no, that's not how we met, but I was doing that work at the time.
Yeah.
We find out everybody's stripper names. Sarper's was Alex. Mina's was Divine. And now we know. Ani's name is Adi. And Ammani needs us to know that Matt was a stripper. Okay. So now here comes Jordan. They hug. She waves at Mina. Was fine. She looks beautiful. Jordan just got engaged. We review the past. Jordan's like, look, I kind of misjudged her. I was just really anxious and nervous about the new baby and nervous about the changes. I want my father to be my kid's grandfather.
Which makes total
It
sense.
makes total sense. And
Yeah.
it's fine. I need, though, Mark to stop making jokes. Mark
I
and Nina to
know.
stop making
I
jokes about
know.
being pregnant because it's not funny.
But I will say Jordan understood the assignment.
She did.
She knew, like, I have to go on there and I have to remake my image.
And she did great.
And she did it.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Joan's like, they can decide if they want to have more kids or not. I'm like, Joan, you need to stop telling people they can and can't have kids.
I'm not here for Joan.
I'm not. I liked Joan a lot better in the season than I liked her in the tell-all.
Same.
Jordan apologizes and says, I was just trying to protect my dad, but it's their life. And now they make the joke about her being pregnant. And they aren't trying for a baby, but they aren't not trying.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And we wanted to know what's happening with Clayton. It's been 11 months since she's seen him, and she cries. She says, Clayton is mature, but he's still a child. And he needs me and I need him. And
it's
so
devastating.
It is devastating. But she just got her green card. So now Mark's like, in a couple of weeks, we're going to go visit him. And hopefully we're going to be able to bring him home with us.
Okay. At no point did Shawn Robinson say, why is Clayton not able to come here?
What is the story here? Why is this proving to be so challenging?
Nobody asked it.
No. So now for some comic relief, Sarper tells terrible jokes.
Dumb.
We don't care.
Dumb.
So now we get to Alliya and the Burger King.
Here we go.
And he immediately is like, I can't do this. This doesn't feel right. I can't put up with this. And we think he's walking off because we get Matt Sharp. No, he circles around and fixes a hair on Mahdi's head.
Yeah.
This was dumb. And he's like, for us, look, the only constant in our life is a lot of change. And you can see poor Leah's having like a heart attack as he's marching around stage. Like, what is he going to do? Yeah. Alliya says she's adjusting to life well in the U.S., but this marriage is not her dream. But they're moving forward. And she says her dream, she said, it has changed a lot. And he says the only constant for them is lots of change. So now Kenny and Armando have to show up because why?
They're
a gay couple.
Talk about tokenizing gays, right?
These two get brought up anytime there's any sort of remotely non-heterosexual.
Look, I'm sure they're thrilled for the Matt Sharp money, but like at one point I'd be like, am I literally the only gay people you know?
Yes. I think they are. That's part of the problem.
All right.
So Kenny jokes that the Burger King wants to get his hands on his hair, whatever. So now here comes Jackie. And they met before Leah transitioned.
This got contentious.
This got real contentious. And she asks how different Alliya is, and she dead names her, which I won't do. But she said before she was scared and quiet and timid, and now she's the opposite because she's really comfortable in her own skin. And Sarper's like, I am so happy for you. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
I did not expect Sarper to be taken up for the trans community here.
Sarper's like, hey, you just have to be who you are.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I was like Team Sarper there.
Yeah, I was too. Burger King asks how he can support someone in the through so many changes. And now we get to did he go on his honeymoon by himself? No, he didn't go on his honeymoon by himself per se.
He threw a fit.
He threw a fit and went on a trip by himself. Yep.
And he went on a month-long trip by himself after they got married to Florida and then slipped away to the DR.
It's not great.
So, yeah, I think he went on a honeymoon by himself.
He went on a big trip by himself, but I don't think they had this trip. Like, I don't think they had a trip to Hawaii planned and then like he left Alliya at home and went and stayed in the hotel and did all the things they were going to do.
Correct.
And he says he didn't go to the hunt. Okay, so we visit. He says he went to visit a friend. Okay, whatever. So we watch Alliya see everyone be upset about her being late, and she just looks really sour.
Yeah, they show the footage, and like after it's done, everybody's like,
"Wow." And Jessica says, like, look, the situation with your mom clearly made everything worse. And he's like, what happened to your mom? She goes, she fractured her foot on both sides. And Burger King says Jackie was a big part of his pain that day.
Yeah.
His mom is his prized possession on this earth. And he did everything he could to make everything easy. And he just goes off.
Yeah, we learned that like he had pre-braided Alliya's hair. He had a wig all styled for her.
Everything was set up. All she had to do was shower and put on her makeup.
Yep.
And it took forever. And Alliya wants to tell her side of the story. And she says, once she heard that something happened to Jeannie, she thought the whole wedding would have been called off. Because she knows how important his mom is to him.
Yeah.
And she didn't have her phone.
Jeannie's that important to Alliya too.
Yeah, I think so too. And Kenny's like, look, no wedding goes off without a hitch. Ours was an hour late. Well, your wedding also had like 29 stages, if you remember correctly. There was multiple outfit changes.
But I also feel like that strangely set Shawn at ease.
I think it did too.
I really do. He was like, okay, maybe I was like, you could see the wheels turning.
Yes. Yes.
He would never say it, but I
No.
think he was kind of calming. We
He
were seeing
softened a
him
bit.
calm down about it.
And he says since the wedding, they've had sex twice and she just doesn't want to force him to do it. So she's given up on even trying. And Shawn asks if they have an open relationship. And he says, we do. I've acted on it. She has not. She says she's not comfortable. He says she's not comfortable with her body yet. So she doesn't want to act on it. I'm like, I don't think that's it, honey. I think you're trying to tell yourself that's it.
Yeah.
And she says, my body's changing and I don't feel attractive or wanted. And my love language is physical touch. And I don't have that. And that's really sad. Shawn asks Burger King if he's attracted to her. And he says he doesn't know where he's landing in any of this. That wasn't the question, Shawn. Shawn answered the question that Shawn asked you. This is why it's confusing. We have
Shawn and Shawn, the Shawn square off.
Shawn square. Kenny says that if Alliya has bottom surgery, he doesn't think he'll be attracted to her, which I think is correct.
Yeah.
And Burger King says he doesn't want her to do anything to save their relationship.
It was a good answer. It was a good answer.
He wants her to be her. Don't worry about our relationship.
He's basically like, I'm not going to answer that because if I do, it will influence the decision. And I need the decision to be hers and only hers.
Agreed.
I thought that is how you talk about somebody when you love them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he says the person I fell in love with isn't the person sitting next to me. And it's not as bad as the previews were making it seem.
No, not at all.
Shawn asks Burger King if he's in love with Alliya, and he says yes. And he knows he'll be there for her forever. And Amani asks Burger King if Burger King was put into her life for her to become who or says she was put into his life for Alliya to become who she is. And I think that's it. I think that's actually really it.
Yeah.
And Alliya says she wrote down something she wants to share, and I didn't write it all down. But
oh my God, I was sobbing.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful.
And
you know who else was crying?
Shawn
and Matt Sharp Jr.
Oh, was Matt Sharp Jr.
Yes,
crying?
Matt Sharp Jr. wiping away tears. That's why I'm saying, like, I think he is being held against his will. He is some kind of victim in that thing.
Okay.
Because I think he has a little heart.
He might.
Yeah.
He might. And but Alliya says all these beautiful things. I love you. I want to be with you. And he says, I will always be here for you.
She's like, I remember going to bed and staring at the stars and praying that we would have a life together. Like, it's intense.
It is intense. They love each other.
But
he does say the right thing. I will be there for you. We're going to figure this out together, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Burger King says he was sorry for how terrible he was on the wedding day, and he cries and everyone else is crying. And bye, Kenny and Armando. We wish you the world of happiness. Now we're done. Amani asks Sarper if they want to join them for dinner, and she pretends to be nice to Sarper and hugs him, and she kind of is like, fuck off. Like, I'm not even doing this. Matt says he doesn't think, but he's thinking about it. Sure. Juan and Jessica high five because they made it through.
They're like, we're out of here.
Next is Juan finding a job. Mark says, stay in touch. Let's talk about that private yacht thing. So I think Mark could maybe hook him up because I'm sure he knows people. Shekinah and Sarper leave. Matt and Amani don't even get up until they're already walking out. And she's like, bye, guys. Yeah. And Amina's like, stop trying. Mina says to Amani, stop trying.
Stop trying.
Stop. She kind of knows Amani came here just to come after her and she'll never associate with her. Good. Great. Stevie and Mahdi leave. Amani comes to try to say goodbye and give them a hug. And Mahdi and Stevie says, I don't like how you talk to them and I'm not going to hug them. And she tells Burger King he's a very kind person, which when I was chatting with Stevie, she said again, Shawn is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Amani makes Joan and Greg say goodbye to her because no one else would. And the victim in this one is very strong. Very strong.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's a victim of her own plastic surgery. Don't forget.
She is.
It's how we opened the tell-all.
That's true. She's like, I did this to myself and I'm still a victim.
Yes.
Greg realizes that his mom wants them out. Greg, did you not watch your whole season?
He's like, well, that was unexpected. Greg, what?
And wants them out sooner than later, so maybe they'll work on that. Mark says that as tough as today was, this taught him that their relationship is good and they have a lot going for them. Alliya says today was fun. And she feels confident and she can speak for herself and she has joy. And she worries that he won't love her body anymore, though. Burger King says he wants to take her on a honeymoon that he owes her. And Matt and Amani leave. And she says it took her a while to see that Ani loves her, but not the way that she loves her. So she'll see. And Matt says, after all of this, he has hesitation about divorcing the most wonderful woman he's ever met. So who knows what the future holds. Go away. I never want to see you two again.
I
Goodbye.
feel like Matt is being held prisoner. And he has to say these things.
Maybe. I don't know. But he can go away. I never want to see him again.
Free Matt Sharp Jr.
Yes. That's it.
Okay.
That's our
All right.
That is OG season 11.
There was
Done.
a lot of fighting in that.
A lot of fighting.
A lot of fighting. Yeah.
The rumors of this being bonkers were in fact true.
Yeah.
But it took part 2.
You ready to track?
Oh, yes. Shit. Okay, go ahead. We have to go quickly here. I know.
Yeah, I have about 15 minutes.
Okay.
I just have to brush my hair and throw clothes on. I'm going to therapy today, guys, and I'm not missing it. I don't care what happens.
You need it.
Okay. So let's start with title, shall we?
Sure. The good one.
The more behaved of my pets. Is the whale my pet?
It's your child. God damn it.
It's my child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Title is my baby boy. He is just over 15 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda?
Oh, over 50 feet. Falling asleep at the wheel here again. What is wrong with me?
And he is still chilling.
Okay.
Yeah. Now he has created like a circle of trust.
So
for
he just stays in that safe space.
Yes.
I see.
He literally has created a big circle that he's just staying in.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Okay. And he's still off the eastern coast of Queensland.
Okay.
So there we go. Okay. Now let's go to my little daughter, if you want to call her that.
Sure.
Merlin.
Two-timing whore.
She has another mother in the BDF group, but
at least one other mother, potentially more. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So Merlin is about 15 meters. Okay, let's see.
Over
what
50
if
feet.
What if one day I logged in and I was like, Merlin's in Cape Cod?
Well, then we're getting in the fucking car and going because I'm driving right up to Scranton and we're going to go.
Merlin really hasn't moved beyond where she was last week.
Okay.
She is still hanging out in New Zealand.
Okay.
And yeah, she's just going in circles.
From what I hear from people, I would hang out in New Zealand too if I could.
I think I would too.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Okay. Let's do Yuki.
Yuki is my little boy. He is a hawksbill turtle. He is 4 feet or 1 meter, which is about 4 feet. He remains just floating around the same area of the Dutch Caribbean.
Oh, boy.
He's still in the same area.
Okay.
To which one of the BDFs said, Amanda, get yourself to the Dutch Caribbean and then you would do the same. And I'm like, oh, girl, I've been to Aruba. I know. If I could stay there, I happily would. So, yeah.
Would you take a poop cruise to get there?
No.
Okay, let me very quickly tell everyone, this has been season 11 of 90 Day Fiance. We're done with it.
Chung chung.
Chung chung. So we have off next week, and then the following week we will be back right here with 90 Day UK. We think. It might be on Patreon, it might be on free. We are not sure yet because here's the thing. Seeking Sister Wife is the variable.
Exactly. We need to know.
Because I can't, in my world, I can't have the Platts and Garrick Merrifield in the same space.
Okay.
So
but they might
I don't
be.
know what's going to happen, but they might be.
Okay.
Be. So today is the 29th. So nope, it's the 30th when you're hearing this. So McBee Dynasty premieres tomorrow.
Nice.
Very excited. And then Amanda, you and I have the slow-mo reunion.
Yep.
And then we have more Ultimatum this week. And then we end the week with, we have Real Housewives with Mary Payne.
Yes, our finale.
And then we end the week with Reality Roundup.
Back to it.
It'll
be good.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, jump in our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends. And Amanda, thank you very much for your time and your notes.
My pleasure. Amy, thank you for having me here.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Little Miss Recap. If you'd like to support the show, the best way you can do that is to join our Twin Flame universe, which is our Patreon, Supercast, and Apple subscription feeds. The links for those are in the show notes. You get ad-free episodes and a ton of bonus content. You can also subscribe to the feed so you don't miss an episode, share the show with a friend, and leave a 5-star review. To contact the show, please email me directly at amy@littlemissrecap.com or join our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.